Hello, everyone. Paradoxically, there is so little information about Lee Haney for a moment about the 8-time Mr. Olympia, who represented the ideal athlete from the point of view of fans and the masses and aesthetics on the web. Well, not media in one word. And he left the stage at the age of 32 by today's standards, long before his potential peak. But there were reasons for everything, and just about them, as well as about all of Haney's Olympic victories, I'll tell you in this issue today. As I study Lee's biography, I am more and more convinced that he is a unique athlete. Haney didn't just write his name into history forever in just 13 years of his career. He also made his stage debut as a 16-year-old teenager. At first, I wanted to connect my life with football. I wanted to become a professional player, but I only managed to play one game in high school and broke my leg. While I was recovering, I worked out in the gym to properly prepare for the new season, but as soon as I returned next year, I immediately injured my right leg. There were only 4 games and I could only practice in the gym again. I realized that football wasn't for me and decided to take up bodybuilding seriously because by that time I had been working out in the gym for almost 2 years and had made good progress. Lee's parents did not support, but at the same time did not dissuade her from bodybuilding. At that time, Haney himself was inspired by the uniforms of Robbie Robinson and Tom Platz, as well as the charisma and business savvy of Arnold Schwarzenegger. In addition, Haney received support from Jim Manion and Joe Weider from a young age, influential people in the bodybuilding world who helped Lee not only improve his form and posture, but also set goals competently. Haney had good data, but the victories did not come immediately. He first took first place in '79 and suddenly found himself the best teenage bodybuilder in the state. Lee was determined to perform consistently and did not compete until the age of 81, when he underwent surgery to remove a tumor on his left wrist. By the way, it is the word stability that perfectly characterizes Haney. In his career, he has never been ranked below 3rd. In the early 80s, he took the Amateur World Championship, national tournaments in the USA, and several pro tournaments. The year 1983 was, in principle, a landmark year for Lee. He has already appeared in 8 tournaments, although after that he will compete a maximum of 1 or 2 times a year. A week after the wedding, he became the first at the Night of Champions, which was especially important for Haney because all the legends took this tournament, and also in principle he won only 2 in 8 starts. Moreover, at his first Olympia, he became the 3rd after Samir Banout and Muhammad Makawi. On the one hand, the bronze medal at the very first Olympia is an excellent result. The same Coleman started many times worse. But on the other hand, Haney was hungry for victories and was ready for rapid progress. The judges advised whether to improve the proportions as well as how to work on posing. And then Arnold came to the rescue, who paid tribute to Haney and advised a choreography specialist. Lee listened to the recommendations, drew conclusions, and has been winning ever since. Already at the 1984 Olympia, Banout was only the 6th, Esthete Makawi was the 2nd, and Haney won the first Mr. Olympia title for himself. As a deeply religious man, he thanked God on the very stage for such a rapid rise. A few years ago, he competed with amateurs, and now, at the age of 24, he took Olympia gold, but this was only the beginning. The year is 1985. At the Olympia in Belgium, Haney beats Rich Gaspari, the hero of the last video, and Albert Beckles eventually becomes a 2-time champion. The year is 1986. Mike Christian is in 3rd place. Rich Gaspari, with his rigidity and proportions, is only in 2nd, and the massive and aesthetic Haney is the first for the 3rd time in a row. And in '87, the audience watched the Gaspari-Haney duel twice, at the German Grand Prix and at the Olympia, and both times Lee became the champion, and at the Olympia, already in Sweden, he beat the master of posing Lee Labrada. The year is '88. The main tournament was held in sunny Los Angeles, and once again, poor Gaspari was awarded only a silver medal. Haney firmly held the throne behind him and added his 5th Sandow Trophy to the collection. But a year later, it was much hotter at the Olympia in Italy. Just take a look at the top 5. Mohamed Benaziza, Rich Gaspari, Vince Taylor, Lee Labrada, and of course Lee Haney. Everything is as it should be. Eyewitnesses said that Labrada and Taylor looked on par with the champion, but according to Lee, the combination of his height, symmetry, overall size, and posing ensured his sixth victory. Moving on, the year is 90, and once again the rivals provided the champion with the maximum level of competition. Lee Labrada and young Sean Ray are dangerous rivals, both genetically gifted and masters of posing. In the first two rounds, Haney was even inferior to them on points. After that, he admitted that it was not so easy to be at the top year after year and progress to the status of champion. But by that time, Lee did not feel that in a combination of size, muscle quality, and behavior on stage, he had reached the level of Schwarzenegger, and by the way, due to another victory, he equaled Arnold in the number of Mr. Olympia titles. It would seem that there were already 7 trophies on his shelf. But going further meant encroaching on Arnold's record, surpassing it, which in the early 90s was perceived by many as almost a crime, an attempt to erase the legend's name and his achievements. Moreover, in case of failure in such a context, defeat would be even more painful, and in recent years the level of competition has only grown. Nevertheless, Lee decided, and he knew in advance that that training, for at least one more reason, would be one of the most responsible in his life. The bottom line is that it was at the 1991 Olympia that Dorian Yates was added to the athletes who were undoubtedly talented, but still inferior to Haney in size. Tall, strong, with a broad backbone, excellent proportions. The young Dorian made himself known not only by his appearance but also by his spirit, brought up on the other side of the ocean in the basement of Birmingham. Lee had heard more than once about Dorian's potential, his size and approach to training, and used the new threat as an excuse to take his own body to a new level. The Haney-Yates duel became the jewel of that Olympia. An experienced and recognized champion against a daring and ambitious debutante. History loves such confrontations. And although Dorian was already very good at that time, Haney later said that the record-breaking 8th victory at the Olympia was especially easy for him. It's simple, he had a wealth of experience behind him, the aura of a champion and a long-term leader, a fighting spirit, and the support of the local public. A combination of factors ensured Lee's next triumph and the title of the only athlete at that time who had won the Olympia 8 times. There is a record, plus a worthy opponent. The audience was already anticipating the fight in the following years, but Lee decided to leave. Finish your career at 32? Well, after that, in numerous interviews, Lee mentioned a variety of reasons. He said that he was just tired, had been winning for too long, and decided to realize himself in other areas. After that, I stated that the quote, $100,000 is too low a price for a year of hard work against the background of my business. I want the envelope with the prize money not to float like an autumn leaf, but to break through the floor under my feet. So if the amount of the fee increases, I will join the fight again. He was not interested in less than $400,000 to $500,000 for the first place, but don't rush to accuse Haney of being too greedy. As an exemplary Christian, it wasn't about him. Experts behind Lee's back cite another, more rational reason for his departure. This is Dorian. The potential of the young Briton was unconditional, and his prospects in terms of gaining mass and muscle stiffness were directly proportional to the fury of his training and the scrupulousness of his preparation. Besides, not every champion can catch that exact moment and leave on time, but Haney was just like that. After 8 victorious years, he completed the era of his dominance, which was effectively adopted by the phenomenon from Britain. However, Lee wasn't lying when he said that he had something to do off stage. A new life awaited him, without exhausting preparations, new goals, and a new career. By the time he retired from bodybuilding, Haney already ran 4 fitness halls and was now able to give motivational lectures, speak in churches to fellow believers like himself, host his own shows on television and radio, and train elite athletes like Evander Holyfield. Lee conducted various seminars, wrote several books, was a member of the International Bodybuilding Federation, and was chairman of the Presidential Council for the Development of Sports under the rule of Bill Clinton. Coaches and professional bodybuilders consider it a walking encyclopedia on training and nutrition. After all, thanks to his approach to training, Lee Haney has not suffered a single serious injury in his entire career. Haney is an adherent of a high-volume training system and focuses as much as possible mentally on the work of the target muscles. Agree, it's a solid list. But the main achievement or life's work is the Harvest House project, created back in '92. In short, this is a village for children abandoned by their parents. According to Haney, he wanted to create a place where established professionals could mentor young people, teach them life skills such as how to create a successful family, raise children, manage money properly, and so on, as well as simply give joy if there is no family, then a strong and cohesive team. At the same time, all the project participants grew up in an atmosphere of courage, kindness, and respect. According to Haney, this is exactly what the world needs. After finishing his performances, Lee Haney continues to train, and even at the age of well over 50, or rather 65, he is in excellent physical shape. I would like to emphasize that these are not all the facts that I would like to cite about Lee. I hope that this review has opened up Lee Haney to many, not only as one of the best bodybuilders in history, who has won as many as 8 Mr. Olympia titles due to the balance of mass and aesthetics, but also as a talented and versatile social activist who is ready to change the world around him for the better. As always, I will be grateful for your support. It helps in the development of the channel. Do not forget to click on the bell so as not to miss the new issue. Subscribe to the channel, and thank you for watching Sports Guru with you. See you later.